So whether you're someone who's not sure whether or not you can do something, or you're someone who's feeling pretty sure there's plenty of reasons why you can't do something, or if you have no belief in yourself at all, what we have for you today is going to change the way that you feel about yourself.
Absolutely. And we're no strangers to self-doubt, right?
Oh yeah,
Because you've had experience.
I know for me, my life was going along in a certain path, and at some point everything just seemed to fall apart. It just seemed to crumble, and I found myself in this pit where I felt like there was really no way out. It really felt like I just didn't know how to get out of this. And that's where the self-doubt really kicked in for me.
Yeah, and for me, I've had self-doubt most of my life, and it kind of culminated toward the end of 2015. I was 51 years old, renting a room in a shared house in England, cleaning other people's houses for a living, and still unable to pay my bills. And I felt I couldn't see any way out. I couldn't see why anyone would ever want to listen to me or hear from me. I tried so many things and could never achieve them because I didn't believe in myself.
You know, what we're sharing with you today is not just a tip or a trick or a tool or a technique.
We're going to share with you what self-doubt really is. So this is foundational. And so we're really passionate about this because we believe that no one should suffer from self-doubt. No one needs to suffer from self-doubt. And everyone has the right to this information that we're going to share with you today, this knowledge, and the right to the solutions.
And over the next few minutes, we're going to be sharing three things with you.
So first of all, what self-doubt actually is, what it really is. Secondly, a short-term solution that you can put into practice immediately. You can use it straight away, and it is the first thing you need to do to get over to overcome self-doubt. And the third thing is a long-term solution that will change that self-doubt to confidence permanently.
Great. So let's jump into self-doubt. So there's three parts to self-doubt.
Yes.
Right? So you wanna take us through those three?
Yes, certainly. So the first part of self-doubt is the fact that there's evidence that proves it. So what I mean by this is why it's so difficult to change, because it's not just like, oh, I don't believe in myself. It's I have proof, that subconscious proof that I'm not worthy, or that I'm too old, I'm too young, nobody wants to hear me, I don't have anything to offer, I'm stupid, whatever those doubts are. It's not just a belief, it's not just conscious thoughts. Your subconscious contains proof and evidence that supports it. So for example, and this comes from childhood and teenage years. So for example, if I was told, I was stupid. Let's say I have experiences of being told I'm stupid. I had trouble in school, and my parents, oh, don't be so stupid. Now, when I am an adult and I want to start a business, or I want to do something I love, or I have something I want to achieve, my subconscious is referring to the so-called fact that I'm stupid because it has evidence. So the subconscious is recording our experiences. It interprets the experience to mean something and then records that fact, those facts. And that's how we build the structure of who we are and how the world works. It's why we don't have to constantly remember our name, consciously remember our name or who we are, how to react to something. It's all on automatic, because those references are formed in childhood and teenage years.
So the foundational piece to self-doubt are all of those references that are back there, the structure that everything else is built upon.
Providing the evidence.
And then the other component, the second piece, the other component to self-doubt is the chemical state that we get in as a result of that, right?
Right. So the feeling of self-doubt. So when I doubt myself, when I feel those feelings, that actual feeling, that sensation is a chemical state. So the
Right.
brain and organs are producing stress chemicals that create that feeling. So what's happening in real time is your subconscious is referring to the so-called fact that you're not worthy, or whatever that belief is. Then it's prompting your brain and your organs to produce stress chemicals like adrenaline and cortisol to create the feelings of doubt.
Yeah.
And then your conscious mind recognizes those feelings and goes, it's because I'm not good enough. It's because I'm too old, I'm too young, I don't have the right background, I don't have the right qualifications, no one will want to hear from me, no one will pay for that. Whatever those doubts are, they're coming from the subconscious prompting that chemical state. They're not conscious or logical.
Right, right. So the that feeling of self-doubt is not something that's being imposed from the outside. It's being created from the inside, and we really can't feel anything. We can't really feel anything at all unless, or it's because we're producing those chemicals and we're experiencing those chemicals throughout our body.
Right, right. And then the third piece is that as we feel those stress chemicals, as we feel, as the stress chemicals enter the bloodstream and we feel that doubt, one of the effects of stress chemicals on the brain is that blood drains from the prefrontal cortex of our brain, where we do our cognitive thinking, so strategizing, noticing opportunities, problem solving, communication, processing information, comprehending, all of that, all of those higher levels of thinking are done in that part of the brain. Blood is drained from there to the back of the brain for fight, freeze, flight, for the emergency state, which means that when you're feeling any negative emotion, including self-doubt, you literally can't think straight because that part of your brain is not online. So that just perpetuates the problem. Because I go, right, I want to do this, but I don't think I can because I'm too stupid, I'm too old, I'm too young, nobody wants to hear from me. And as I'm thinking those thoughts, because this becomes a vicious cycle,
yes, absolutely.
Thoughts are connections in the neocortex of the brain, and all those connections trigger matching chemicals. So it starts with the subconscious referring to the fact that I'm not good enough, or whatever the reason is. That prompts this chemical reaction that creates the feeling. My conscious mind goes, it's because I'm not good enough. And as I think that connection produces more of those same chemicals, which again create more thoughts. And that's why it's so difficult to get out of. And so then your prefrontal cortex is offline, so you can't think straight, so you can't move forward anyway.
Well, this sounds like a hopeless situation.
We have solutions.
Yeah, I was going to say, how about a solution? Shall we move toward one short-term solution that you can be working on right now? When you start to feel yourself getting into that feeling of self-doubt, of knowing that I can't do something, no matter where you find yourself on that scale, here's something that we can do.
Yes. So as we've just explained, when you're feeling any negative emotion, including self-doubt, the prefrontal cortex of your brain goes offline, the blood is drained from that. So the top priority, the first step, is to bring that part of your brain back online so you can think straight, so you can think clearly. And the way you do that, so what will bring that back online is bringing the stress chemicals down and producing endorphins, feel-good chemicals like endorphins, serotonin, oxytocin. As your brain and body, as that chemical state changes, the blood starts to return back to that part of your brain. You start to feel better, and that part of your brain starts working. You're able to think straight again.
It is kind of like being in a house that's on fire. So you're recognizing that feeling, and that state feels like it is a serious situation. Your number one job in the midst of that feeling is to get out of that chemical state.
Right.
So what we know and what we're suggesting is you need to do whatever it takes to redirect your focus off of what you're thinking about. So those self-limiting, self-doubting thoughts, you need to direct your focus away from that and focus on anything that feels better. Go ahead.
Because remember that thoughts, so wherever your focus is, are connections in the neocortex of your brain, which are triggering matching chemicals. So while you're focused on something negative, you're producing stress chemicals. When you switch your focus to something that's funny, that's fun, that you love, something you're grateful for, that starts to change that chemical state from stress chemicals to feel-good chemicals, which will bring that part of your brain back online. So examples are, watch comedy videos on YouTube. Laughing babies are funnier than you might think. Listen to music you love. Listen to an uplifting TED talk. Physical exercise is really effective. So go for a walk listening to an uplifting audiobook or music you love. Do a dance, play a game, play with your kids, play with your dog, take your dog for a walk. Look for 5 things to be grateful for. All of those kind of things. Do whatever it takes to shift that chemical state. Now, we also have a little exercise that's designed to change your chemical state in this way. And we've got a free MP3 audio guide for you that we'll give you towards the end of this.
So that's a short term. That's a short term solution that you can be doing anytime, every time, and right now, whenever you're feeling that self-limiting, self-doubting kind of feeling, that you can use to get yourself into a better feeling state, to get yourself out of that,
to change your chemical state. So it's not just about, oh, I want to, feel better. It's literally changing your physiology.
Absolutely. And then a more long-term solution is to go back and actually address the references that are producing those thoughts in the first place. Right.
So changing the subconscious references, and that process is it's perfectly doable. We've done it ourselves. We've done it with lots of our clients, and that process it's too much to go into this video, but we've put together a sort of cheat sheet that explains exactly what those subconscious references are, how to find them, and how to change them, the process for changing them. We've put that in a little document along with a video that will talk you through changing one of those references. So you can watch the video and follow along with it and change a reference for yourself. And so we've put this all together in a little free starter pack. So a little free starter pack that we can email you. So we'll put a link in the description of this video, and you'll enter your email address, and we'll email you the MP3 audio guide, which is 2 minutes. It's under 2 minutes. It's less than 2 minutes to change your chemical state, and the cheat sheet that you can learn more about the references, how to find them, how to change them, and a video to follow along with so you can change one for yourself.
Right. So I think that kind of wraps up where we were going with that today. I think that...
I know. I wanted to just, sorry to interrupt you, but I wanted to compare these two things.
Okay.
Right, because when you think about it, what's the difference between someone who's successful and someone who's not successful? It's not about circumstances. It's not about physical ability, mental ability, knowledge, background, wealth. It's not about skills. It's not about or education, any of that, because for everybody who doesn't succeed and feels it's because of certain, challenges, there are people with those challenges who do succeed. So it's not about the circumstances or anything like that. What makes the difference between those two people is the chemical state and the subconscious evidence, the references. That's all. So you change the chemical state, you change the references, and then you're automatically free from self-doubt, and you can automatically move forward to achieve what you want to achieve.
And that's really kind of the story of your life too,
and
right?
So yes, so I went from cleaning those houses, other people's houses, and unable to pay my bills. I learned to change my chemical state, starting with the little MP3 exercise that we're going to send you, and changed the subconscious references using the process we're going to send you as well. And I now own the rental properties I was cleaning back in 2015. So you can do this. It's just about changing learning to change your chemical state and changing those subconscious references, and we'll help you do that.
And then everything else changes automatically.
All
So
right.
that's it for now, and we will see you all again
See you
next
next
time.
time. Bye-bye.